say, though, the wonderful thing about America is that, with the exception of our brothers and sisters who are Native Americans, all of us come from somewhere else. Every group that came in goes through exactly the same struggles. I mean, the Irish in the 1850s in New York, same thing. And now they're senators, now they're presidents, now they're, and I think our African Americans are making great strides, So it's not something that resolves fast, but we can't ever give up. Because we're all Americans. And that's what people got to understand, is that all of us here share the same dreams, same aspirations. And this country is greater because of its diversity. That's what makes us great. And just keep going. I mean, I'm sorry. I know these things happen, but we can't give up. We can't give up the struggle. Yeah, go ahead.
One thing I will say from being a Palani marrying into the Samoan culture and looking at people who've lived here now 3, 4, 5 generations, I think one of a big divide and a big gap is how the cultures look at money and deal with money. Because until you gain some level of financial independence, America's a hard place to be. And you have very different views on how retirement works, on savings, on even buying property. And I think there needs to be a whole lot more education and help and counseling for how people need to use money. And that's just the reality of living here in the States.
Well, let me speak to that. I'm so glad you raised that issue. Okay, let me just speak for just a second about this and respond, because you're right. It's very different. And one thing I do want to address are spouses of people who love and marry Polynesians, particularly Samoans and Tongas. Okay. And one thing I want to say, I had a man come and meet me with his wife. She was a Palani. And we started speaking to Samoan, and she was so offended. I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "I know you guys are talking badly about me. I have to tell you, in my experience, I have never once heard a Samoan or a Tongan ever demean somebody in their presence by using their own language. It totally violates their culture. They never do that. They never talk badly about somebody in their language." Let's talk about money. I've been in chief you had to say chief investiture ceremonies. I've seen $40,000 change hands in about maybe 2 hours. I've been in places where I've seen 400 finance flow. Because in Polynesia, Polynesian view of money, I think the Palami view of money is a lake, it's a pond. I have to save my money, I have to make this pond get bigger. And then when it's big enough, then I'll be okay. Polynesian view is money is a river. Money is a stream. It goes and it comes. And it's just a very different view, I mean, $40,000 for South Hawaii, no problem, no problem. Why? Because it comes from the lobby system. I have this amazing several hundred people here come, and I can spend $50,000 on a funeral, no sweat, even though I may not can afford a pair of shoes, And so you're right. And I think the way to deal with this is to have very candid discussions. Just like I did with my friend. I said, "Do you love this woman? $2,000 with the year. And if you do, then marry her and put that $2,000 aside." By the way, Samoans, do you think that was good advice?
Yes.
In other words, instead of refuse the culture, engage.
Start 5,000.
Spoken as a true.
Let me. I know I've taken up a bit of time, but let me say something. She touched on something that I believe it's going to happen. She was talking about second, third generation Americans. I believe that's a generation that is going to make the change, but we need to plant the seed now. My second son, just got hired as a director of personnel for Congress, what's his name, Stewart, Jake? That just got elected.
Yeah.
He's making a difference. He's now beginning to move into that field. And what he's told me, he says, we need more Polynesians to get involved in the political arena. The problem is, I don't think there's a lot of Polynesians that are interested in that field, but that's where it is. Going back to the money issue, I married a Chinese Korean woman. That's why my son is handsome like that. But one of the things I did when I knew that I was struggling with a fast, I did oldest grandson. So yeah, you know what that means back in the islands. What I did is I took her to Samoa. She loved everything about it. She's been to Samoa now twice on her own to take care of Halabelavas or whatever because I couldn't go.
Wow.
She loved the culture. She loved everything about it.
Well, what's not to love? God, it's a great culture. I mean, it's amazing. It really is. And I think that's the most powerful weapon. Is somebody's treating you badly, just be a Samoan. What do? You feed them. You know? You love them. You share, you open your heart. You know, I mean, I believe that, you know, I want to say something about our Tongan brothers and sisters because, again, I've been learning Tongan. I have so much respect. I'll tell you one thing. If I can spend 4 hours with Tongans, that is better than 6 months of psychotherapy. I mean, if I could just hang out with Tongans for 4 hours, all the stress, all the that's gone. You know, it's totally evaporates. I mean, these Tongans, it's just, no, it's amazing. And our culture is so beautiful. I think the more we share that with people, the more we share it with the children, that's actually our strongest weapon, is to just love these people. You know? And it's really funny because I talk to Palangis, and they know I have some connection to Samoan. And you know what they invariably say is, oh, you know, I know this Samoan guy. He's so amazing. He was so nice to our family, you know. There's a very, very good positive vibe about Polynesians out there. I mean, where do they want to go on vacation? They go to Panguitch, they go to Tooele. No, they want to go to Hawaii. They want to go to Tahiti. They want to go to Samoa. I mean, we've got that real power. My view is we need to be a lot more explicit and proactive in expressing our culture. That's why, again, my view is the past and the future is rooted in the past. Please.
I got a question. My comment is on money. It's like two different ideologies. Western concept of money.
Totally.
Polynesian concept of money. So Polynesian money is something to be shared, but it's also something that ties connection. Well, as I take it further, is money something that can be gone, but relationships what stays.
Exactly.
So that concept of the Polynesian ideology. Well, my question is, as far as path to the future is rooted, or the path to the future is rooted, but in the past, would you, understanding Western culture and Samoan culture, is it invested for parents growing up in America or New Zealand, or outside the islands, to keep the Samoan or Tongan tradition, like the Pa'a Samoa or the Paka'angatonga, in the family in order to navigate the new society?
I really believe that you bless your children, you bless your grandchildren, if you teach them about this great heritage. They should feel a pride. They should never feel, oh, I'm different, that's terrible. They should feel, I'm different, aren't I lucky? You know, I mean, I agree so much with you about this. Money, again, money is a plaything. It's so different. In Samoa, and in Tonga, and in Fiji, you gain power by giving stuff away. I gain my sweet wife. I gain political power by giving stuff away. It's called a culture of regard. And I would never refuse if I could, because that would impair my prestige. Does that make sense? I don't quite know how to explain it, but it's a good thing to give stuff away. The other thing I want to say is there's a different view of property. This was very hard for me when I first lived in Hawaii. I wake up in the morning, I've got to get my shoes, they're gone. I've got to get my towel, it's gone. What's going on here? And then I suddenly realized, wait, there's somebody else's shoes. I just used those. There's somebody else's towel. I finally got it. Before this clicked, I thought, this is a stream. The shoes go, the towel goes, there's another towel, there's another shoes. You know, if you need it, use it. That's the view in the village, you know. And it's so fantastic. I got to share it because I'm so fun. Although I'm a Mormon, very proud of my faith, I'm very, very appreciative of the other churches. They've done such great work, and I have such respect for the ministers. And we got very close to Cardinal Peel, the Catholic cardinal, who was Fale Lupa Boy, And he got very close to us. I got to tell you the story because we're getting a new pope now. I don't know if you're finding that. I'm pretty excited about this whole process, you know. So he was a cardinal, but he's also a Samoan. Okay? So I said, what was it like being in the conclave, where you elect a new pope? Well, he has a glass case. And there's these beautiful red shoes. They're just so exquisite. They're, you know, the little tapestry, and you remember this story. So I said to Cardinal Pio, I said, you know, Nāfanua, where did you get these shoes from? So Nāfanua, he says, quite a story there. He says he goes into the place where they vote on the pope. They lock the door. You know, there's the cardinals there, you know, and they vote and they pray and they fast and they go through their thing, and then there's the puff of white smoke. Yes, we have the pope. He says, so we finished. We elected Pope John Paul. I came out in my size shoes, so I popped them in my bag. His shoes, you know. And I walk in the back of the film, I see the Pope coming out. We have a Pope. Those are my shoes. When I got back, yeah, I had the same deal. My shoes, they're gone. But you get somebody else's. Anyway, different culture.
He did the main thing.
He was a lot.
Just to add to that, I don't know if we're out of time, about my dad, you know, with giving stuff away, just like you said. His theory was, and when we were growing up, our uncles would come over, even my cousins would come over, and I was playing with one of my favorite toys after Christmas. And I guess my cousin, you know, was crying for it when they were about to leave. And my dad would come to me, come here, son, and like, hey, keep your cousin here till you get another one when he's gone. I knew exactly, you know, I'm not going to get that toy. But he gave it away, you know, and he does that with my uncles. They come over, one of my uncles came over and we had a ceiling fan, you know.